What's going on, everyone? This is Updog here. I'm the People's Envoy, and today I have a new series of videos for you that if you are brand new to Marvel Strike Force, or never played it, or maybe just you're still pretty new and you want some tips and hints, I'm gonna cover with the help of a friend. I'm gonna cover what it's like going through the new player experience, is what the devs like to call it, the new player experience. So if you're ready to go, let's get into it here. We're going to start on my account just because I pre-recorded some of this footage from the new account. So you'll see that here in a minute, but I did want to cover a few things because these items are just going to be general for just anyone playing the game. So some of the first few things we're going to talk about is resets. There's a lot of resets in the game. There's daily objective resets. There's let's see, there's like store resets. There's event resets. So everything does have a timer on it. Most of the times you'll be able to see it pretty easily. You'll see here in these windows here. You'll see up here in the store, there's a timer. On the daily objectives, there's a timer. On the challenges, there's a timer. So everything has a timer, and it depends on what time zone you're in as far as when those resets happen. But energy, you do get free energy you get 3 times a day. You get free energy, and that'll be here. I literally just claimed it before doing this video. I probably should have held on to it, but you'll get that 3 times a day. Now, I'm in Central Time, and I get that at, let's see, it is at 6 p.m., at 9 p.m., and also at 11 p.m. Now, this is now in daylight savings time kind of throws the wrench in things too. So like, when we are not on daylight savings time in the spring through the fall, then it gets pushed ahead an hour. So it's like 12 p.m. Central, and then like, what is it, like 7 and 10 or something like that. Something, I don't know. Whatever it is, it gets pushed ahead in an extra hour. So there is that, and there are these currency here called power cores, and that's the super premium currency that you can get for free. If you place high enough in the arena, you get the maximum amount that you can get, at least for one payout anyway. You can get these power cores also in when you spend gold every day, you'll get some power cores. If you spend up to 1.075 million, that's the highest milestone for getting power cores. So there's that. If you also spend 2040 energy over 2 days, you also get the maximum amount of power cores for that milestone. So I recommend doing both of those, and I'll talk about those here in a few minutes, but just kind of wanted to point that out. So cores, especially for new players, I would just do this energy up here, this little plus sign. And if it says 50 cores, or you might have some of these little refresh packs here, you can get those from the daily milestones. Let's see here. Yeah, right here. This is one of them. You get 2 of them. You get like 25 and a 10 or something like that every day if you do all the daily objectives. I think I call them daily milestones. Sorry, daily objectives. So you can eventually get a free energy refresh. It's not every day. It's like every other day. But I would keep going until this number here changes to 100. Then you want to stop. You do not want to spend more than the 50 power cores for energy, because the math just doesn't quite work out for you unless you really want to push. If you're a big spender, then that's fine too. Go ahead, you'll be able to buy more power cores if you'd like, but if you're going free to play, that's the way to do it. for spending power cores. Now, there are also other options you can do with your power cores. You can, let's say you want to refresh. Let's say you're farming a character and you want to try again to get more shards that same day. You can spend power cores there. One of the big things, I'd say when you're mid game, I wouldn't worry about it too much when you are a new player. But mid game, I would say, is probably around the time when you get like probably Dormammu or Super Scroll. That'd be about mid game area these days. Then you can probably start looking at using your power cores on these kind of orbs here, where it's 675 cores per orb, and that gets you, it's a minimum of 6 character shards, but you can get up to 180. The average is about 8. Sometimes you get 10, sometimes you get 6, sometimes you get 12, and so on. So that's the other thing. If you get a big stash of power cores, that's what you can spend those on. Now, every orb, don't let the orbs overwhelm you, because trust me, when I started this game over 5 years ago, I was overwhelmed and there wasn't nearly as many orbs as there was nowadays. But if you're ever curious on what an orb has inside of it, you can always hit this little info button like I just did, and it'll tell you what you get. We have brand new orbs almost every week that they just change out over every week or so, but then we also have these orbs that'll stick around for a while that you can spend cores on and things like that. So that's the deal with cores. A lot of people aren't quite sure what an envoy is, and I thought I would cover that just real quick. So basically an envoy is like an official influencer for Marvel Strike Force, and we get early access to doing like testing out characters on the test server, or we'll get to announce certain things that the devs will let us announce, like maybe a new team or maybe a new feature or new game mode, something like that. So that's really what an envoy is. So I take it seriously just for you. That's why I'm the people's envoy. And not that I'm not saying that other envoys don't take it seriously, but I definitely am honored that I'm part of the program and try to take the responsibilities seriously. And there's obviously information that I'm given that I'm not able to talk about until a certain time. So just trying to do the best I can for those people out there that need the help. So that's basically the short version of what an envoy is. So now let's get into the new player account, and we'll show. So this first milestone that I saw, I kind of was taking it for granted, I guess, because I've logged in every single day for the last 5.5 years, almost 5.5 years. So I haven't missed a day. So if you do miss a day, you're gonna miss out on this milestone. They do sometimes give out what's called streak tokens, which they may get rid of that. As of right now in January 2025, we still have them, but in the future they may get rid of them. Who knows? We'll see how that happens, but I will show you what this whole streak milestone is all about. Okay, so right now we have this Astral Ascendance milestone, and it gives a lot of great stuff. It's pretty easy to complete. You just do kind of normal activities in the game. You can see the player here, he's technically gotten the milestones, but he can't claim them until he logs in for 7 days in a row. I didn't think that was a great thing for new players to be locked out of this for the first 7 days, but once you get past that hurdle, then you'll be able to get all of these milestones every single day, as long as you do the normal stuff that you normally would do in the game. So that's going to be key to make sure you keep logging in every single day. You'll get this milestone. So you get some good rewards in that milestone. And yeah, just keep it up, and that stuff will definitely help you out a lot. Now the next thing is going to be this first strike milestone. Now I thought that milestone was great when I first saw it. I had no idea the new players were getting this. So this is amazing. Let's go check it out. So he already did a few of the milestones, but getting the ability materials, the training mats, and then getting members of the Spider Society are going to be a great early team for you to do or to use in the early part of the game. I mean, they're still being used right now, even in the end game. So it's going to be a great team, will be a good service for you, for a good investment for you for the long term. And they'll come up again throughout this video here. Now this is just day one. We're going to be talking about I'm probably going to do like a weekly video, like update on how's it going this week, what did we do, what did we unlock, what did we, how did we progress. So getting as many points as you can on this milestone is going to be huge for you. You will want to get into an alliance that you can at least do some raids in, whether it's like an Ultimus raid, or if you can find an alliance that'll kind of carry you for a little while in even a higher raid, that'd be great. But yeah, raids is a big portion of this milestone, so you definitely, as soon as you can, want to get into an alliance that has raids. And then we talked about that gold spending milestone and the energy spending milestone that happens. Those happen every single day. This World Warrior one also happens every day. It's kind of like that strike one where you get points for doing normal stuff like Blitz and War and some other things. There you go, raids. So you'll get points for that. That's an alliance-wide milestone, so all the alliance members will contribute to that one. That has some good stuff for you when you're new to the game. Even some T4s in there is useful for the late part of the game. And then of course we have the daily objectives down here in the bottom too. That's a daily milestone as well. So get some good stuff, good rewards in there as well. Again, just for doing your normal things, and it'll tell you in there, maybe you've done only a few raid battles. If you do a few more, then you can finish off that milestone. And I guess a tip for that is, like, let's say you're in an alliance who's doing higher raids that you just can't even do anything in those raids. If you load into the raid node and then hit lose battle right away, like right when that match loads up, before your characters get attacked, if you hit that lose button, it still counts for the daily objectives for you. So that's a way to get those milestones completed. So this is just 24 hours into playing, and he's kind of bottlenecked. You'll notice a lot of bottlenecks in this game, but he is bottlenecked right now on the campaign nodes. This is how far he's gotten in some of the various chapters. So they do like to spread it out a little bit, have you do some of the campaign nodes, and then progress a little more, get your commander level up a little higher, and then you can do more campaign nodes. And that's using this yellow energy. That's why we refresh that energy. You can use that energy to do the brand new nodes if you meet the requirements, or you can use that to farm gear that is located on these nodes as well. And then your commander level here will go up the more you use that campaign energy. And so the more your commander level goes up, the more access you have to different modes. Like you'll get arena, you'll get raids, you'll get war and crucible eventually. So that's how the progression works. But the first, I'd say 3 or 4 days, if you're just sitting on energy and not really doing much other than just kind of collecting milestones, then it's going to be a lot slower progress than if you are to go ahead and do those 4 refreshes for those 50 cores, so 200 cores total for that energy to kind of get your commander level higher. So what we were talking about here, he pulled up all the heroes available on the roster. He did say that it felt like heroes were a little bit hard to come by, a little bit hard to unlock right at the beginning. He felt like he got quite a few villains. But part of the challenge with the game is knowing what characters to invest in and which characters to not invest in. So I gave him some advice on some of these characters, on what to do. There's actually an event that comes in for new players to get the full Extreme X-Men team. He doesn't quite have Forge yet. He's getting close, I think, at this point. But the other thing to think about, or as far as like, if you want to know like what are good characters to invest in, we'll talk about that. But a lot of the times there'll be older characters that maybe were added into the game a year or even years ago that get reworks. So that's one great part. That's one great thing I love about the game is the old characters, they bring them back into the meta and have them be relevant for a while. So I'll show you a tip here in a few minutes as far as how to tell if some of those older characters are going to be back into the meta. I hope they keep up with this tip that I'm going to show you because it's really good. They just added it a month or two ago, something like that. So I'm hoping that they do keep up on it, but I'll show you that here in a second. But yeah, he was saying it's kind of hard to get a good hero team in the early part of the game that has some good synergy. Extreme X-Men is going to be a really good option for you. Also, the Spider Society, if you can get them from that strike milestone, that's going to be a great hero team as well. And here we are talking about some of the like Moondragon here. She was recently reworked. If you're a spender, you could spend. There's some good deals look like there on some shards, but if you're free to play, you'll naturally just unlock these characters eventually through various orbs and things like that. This is that method that I was talking about where you can figure out like what team is the newest team, what's going to have the best long-term investment for you. So they do start out with, every time a new team comes out, they'll put them at the top, the devs will. And then the second newest team, third newest team, it goes by order of when they were added to the game. So if you scroll all the way down, you'll see that's one of the first few teams that were added into the game. And then you should be able to tell, like, a lot of the times they will add in like the older reworked characters. They will add those into events and you'll get a ton of shards from them. You might be able to get them to 7 yellow fairly quickly just because they do like to give those shards away to help the new players out. So if you start seeing a bunch of shards of we'll say Beast here, or let's see here, or you'll see a bunch of shards of like Falcon if you're watching this around the time when I released the video, then you'll know that was a reworked character and they have new stats and new kits, probably updated kits, and they will be a safe investment to put your gear, your gold, everything into them. Now, if you're not getting a lot of shards, like let's say for this team here, like Hercules or Jean Grey, they're coming out, or they're just being released now as I'm recording this video. If you don't get a lot of shards of them, that's where you'll know that they're a new character, and you'll probably see a bunch of offers in the store. If you look at the store, you'll see a bunch of offers for them, so you'll know that they're kind of they're a brand new character. That's what their whole business model is based on, is coming out with new characters every about 10 days or so is what the average is right now. So 10-11 days, something like that. But you can go to the squads tab, which is up here at the top of the screen here, and like I said, it's ordered by most recent team at the top and oldest team at the bottom. So that's how you can kind of tell what kind of teams you're wanting to invest in. Now, my recommendation has always been build arena characters first, which in the early game it's kind of hard to figure out what an arena team is. So if you have questions on that, make sure you let me know. Raids are going to be next. Actually, it's kind of in the order that I would recommend. So arena teams, raid teams, and then these two, War and Crucible. Once you unlock them, you play around with them, see which mode you like better. If you're free to play, especially, you'll probably only have enough resources to build one or the other super high to be more competitive in that section. So whichever one you like better. I personally like Crucible. You'll probably see a lot of Crucible videos from me. Although there's also Battle World that's going to be coming back. It had a few troubles when it first got released, and they're fixing that, and hopefully we'll have that done here, hopefully by February or so of 2025. So yeah, maybe you like Battle World, so maybe you want to build your Battle World characters instead. That helps your alliance. The building more characters helps your alliance as well. Crucible's more of a solo mode where you compete against people 1v1. So that part interests me more. I mean, I'm the leader of my alliance, so I still put in the work for War, and I still did the work for Battle World, but Crucible just is more interesting to me, personally. So, but not everybody's like that. And you can see here we're kind of scrolling down just to show you the teams, the order that they were released, and you can kind of see the characters that he's unlocked on some of those teams there. And then, yeah, you can sort them by arena, raids, war. So. Now, I was talking about orbs earlier, and if you look in the store, and you'll find under the Orbs tab, you'll find all the orbs you can possibly open. And you'll get a lot of these Jarvis orbs when you're a new player. They do have some characters in there that will help you. Some characters I would avoid building at first, but eventually you'll want to build. So just kind of pointing that out, that yes, especially the ones with character shards in them, that'll definitely help out a lot. And when you are brand new to the game, they will send you an inbox message that looks like this. Be on the lookout for it. I'm not sure if when you do hit this button, the go button, if it will take you to it's a blog basically for about new players and different tips, other tips. But if it doesn't work, then please send me a message, let me know. I will try to get you that link. The devs are aware that it's not working right now, but and they're trying to fix it. But yeah, if you're interested, if you can't see it, if it's not pulling up, let me know. I will get you that link. My Discord link is in the description, so make sure to look me up that way. Or you could just comment on the video. I do check my comments on all my videos and reply most of the time. If it warrants a reply, if it's something like, oh, that team sucks, then I usually don't reply back. So yeah, just wanted to point this out that yes, we're not sure if it's working when you first open it up for the first time, because the person I'm working with here, they kind of skipped over it, so it's easy to skip over. So if you are interested and you can't get to it, then let me know. Now, ever so often the game has limited time events, and they'll look something like this. They might have a part 1, 2, and 3, or they might be called what they call showcase events, where when a new character comes out, they will have a mini campaign section for that character. Now, usually the first part of that is going to be like provided characters for you, so you can still get some of the gear and whatever else, the rewards from those nodes for free without having to purchase the character or unlock the character. And then the other half has different requirements for like star levels. So like the first one is whatever the star unlock is. So let's say it's a 3-star unlock. You have to have that character unlocked to 3 stars, and then you can play that node, and then the next node is 4 stars, 5 stars, and so on. So you can get some bonus rewards from these kind of campaigns, so be on the lookout for that. This player here that I'm working with, he thought that was really helpful, getting those extra rewards from this kind of limited time event. So be on the lookout for those. And if you do want to know what's coming up in the game, they have a weekly blog that they come out with every Friday. And I actually do a graphic on what's coming up, so you can kind of know, like, oh, hey, next week I have yellow energy that I'm going to need to spend for this event, and then you'll get more rewards for that. Or, oh, I got to do ISO 8 energy, or I got to do some battles in war or something. So I do a graphic every Friday that kind of breaks down the blog in just a quick little reference sheet. If you don't want to bother with the blog, but the blog does have some good stuff, good info in there, extra info that I do not cover on that graphic, just because it's more meant for a quick little reference guide. Be like, oh yeah, I gotta remember to save this up, or oh yeah, I gotta remember that this is happening, that kind of thing. So the next thing up we're going to talk about is Blitz. And this premium orb Blitz, and then when you unlock red stars, you'll have a red star Blitz too. And you won't be able to get the sim. You'll have a sim button, but not till level 60, so that's going to be a little bit. But so you have to manual Blitz, which we didn't really call it that back when I first started playing, because there was no such thing as a sim button. But it's great that we have the sim button. And basically the thing to keep in mind with Blitz is to maximize your scores or your roster is to kind of take a bigger character like Lizard here, or maybe a couple bigger characters, few bigger characters, and pair them with smaller characters. That way, when you do your little matchup, these are actual teams from actual players, but they're not like, the stats are adjusted based on whatever tier you're at up here. See, he's at tier 3 right now. So the higher the tier, the more the stats are going to get adjusted to make it harder for you. But these are actual team compositions from other people, and these are the actual names. So when you do it this way, where it's like 2 or 3 high-powered characters and then a couple low-powered characters, then you actually have a better chance of winning Blitz. So I would base your Blitz squads around that kind of strategy. And as you get to play with the characters, you'll learn like who's more of a overpowered character versus who's not. And the power numbers do help a little bit to kind of to determine that. But like here, he did Ironheart and then 4 other low-powered characters, and so that should win pretty easy. So that's kind of my tips for Blitz. When you're a new player, it does take a while to clear those milestones, so just gotta grind it out there until you hit level 60, and then you can, start simming. But getting a lot of Blitz currency isn't the worst thing in the world, because in that supply store there's quite a few characters that you'll want to farm in there for shards. So before we get into the store, we're going to talk about a little bit of advanced settings here. So if you go up to your settings up here in the top right, you'll see this screen, and the first thing you want to do is, if you do not want your personal information sold, you want to go down here to the button, and then you'll do opt out of that. So if you don't want that, your personal information being sold, which I don't particularly like that, so I opted out. It's up to you what you want to do. I just wanted to point that out for you. You have the Alliance chat and global chat, so that's going to be down here. You have the global chat, that's everybody in the game. You have your Alliance chat, and then of course you have the 3 sections for your Alliance chat. Then you have the your like personal chat down here too. So if you want some of those to not be there on the screen, you can turn those off. Now these requests, if you're trying to join an alliance, you definitely want to have that one turned on. And contacts, like if you want to add people for personal messages, DMs and stuff, you want to turn that on. And I would suggest creating a Scopely account. Now, some people are a little bit timid and wanting to do this, but it's nice because you do get extra like power cores, I think it is. You get Loki you get an unlock for Loki. I can't remember how many shards it is. You definitely unlock him, but it may be higher than just the base unlock. I can't remember for sure. But you get that, you get a Scopely account, you go on a website. It's called the Webstore. People refer to the Webstore. And then there'll be offers on there. There'll be web milestones as well. So let me pull that up real quick. So this is what it's going to look like. Let me flip over here to go a little bit bigger. So this is what it's going to look like. You'll have, this is the store part where they're going to sell all the offers. And there is if you don't mind spending just a little bit of money, there is going to be a really good offer for you. It's going to have like Silver Surfer, I believe, and some more power cores. It's going to be like $1 or $2 or something. So if you're enjoying the game and you can afford to spend a couple bucks, it's actually a really great offer. And then there's the milestones up here. There's web milestones. So every day you'll have a web milestone. You just need to spend 50 cores to get that, and you get some energy. You get ISO energy, yellow energy, and a premium orb. So those premium orbs are really helpful for you. And then every week we have another milestone. It usually lasts a week or so, and you will it'll tell you what to do here. I guess, yeah, we're in the as of recording this video, I'm in a little bit of, oh no, I guess I do, I have it right here. Okay. So you can go into it and it'll tell you what you need to do to get points. And like I said, my Stormwatch will cover that as well. But that's just a real quick, I almost forgot to talk about that. But that's just a quick reminder to sign up for a Scopely account. That way, if you change devices or something happens with your current device, that way you can have that Scopely account. It'll be logged in. It'll stay up to date, so you won't lose your game progress or anything like that. So back to the options, we have low graphics mode, which if you have an older device, you might want to run that. I play on two different devices. I play on my phone and my iPad. And so when you play two different devices, sometimes these settings like stay or maybe they don't stay. It gets a little weird. But yeah, low graphics mode, or if you're freezing, if your game freezes a lot, you might need to run it in low graphics mode. Portrait screen orientation, that'll be for like, if instead of seeing like a couple of rows on your roster, you'll get to see a bunch of rows instead if you flip your device in the portrait orientation instead of the landscape orientation. So there's that. There's reduced text combat. If you feel like the numbers and all the passives that are popping up above the characters' heads, if that's getting a little bit too big or too much for you, you can do that. Basic only auto options. So there's an auto feature during battle. You can just tell it to do basic attacks only. So if you want to save your ultimate and your special attacks, that's what you can do there. Dark Dimension tab, so there'll be a little thing on the screen over here on the right. For Dark Dimension, it'll take you to the Dark Dimension that you're currently on. So it's a kind of a quick little access tab. Download all assets on Wi-Fi, you definitely want to have that on. That's a nice one to have, because every update there is, you have to re-download the assets, and it just goes a lot faster if you do it that way. Hide save squads with no valid members. You can probably turn that on. Large power core purchases. In the past, if you had a large power core option for, like, let's say character shards, which I'll talk about in a minute, that there wasn't a pop-up messages like, are you sure you want to spend this? So this just turns it back to the old way, so like there isn't a confirmation box there. And then there's these ones where combat inactivity triggers autoplay. So like, let's say if you have kids like me and something happens with them and you just loaded up a battle, and then you got to set your phone down and go check on them, see what happened. Did they crack their head open or whatever? This will turn on the autoplay after 20 seconds. So it'll attack or do the combat in the order of whatever abilities are available. How it goes is if your character has the ultimate ability available and the special, it'll use the ult first and then the special. Sometimes you don't always want to do that when you're in a battle, but it's better than having it sit there and time out, I guess. So there's that for raid. I'm going to turn that one off for raids. There is the auto basic as well option for raids, which can be nice sometimes. Arena. Yeah, I could do arena. War, probably not. For me anyway, probably not. Alliance recommendations. Now, you might get messages in your inbox that'll say, oh, you should take a look at this alliance. They're running whatever kind of raids or whatever. You might be interested in that. I have that turned on. I really haven't seen it much since they added this, but maybe you'll see it as a new. And then the vibrate device of inactive after loading. That's kind of cool. That must be a new one. I don't remember seeing that one. So you have the sound effects and music. If you don't care for those, then you can have those off. I most of the time like at least the sound effects on. I think they're kind of nice in a game like this. Alright, so let's get back to the store here. I call it the gold store. It's called the supply store, I think. But this is where you can spend your gold. You can buy different gear and things like that. I wouldn't probably worry about it too much unless you like really need something for a character. Like let's say you really want to do a certain campaign and you're short on just this one gear piece, then I think it's fine. But overall, I wouldn't worry about it too much as a new player. You'll eventually get it through orbs and other methods, events, things like that. So that part I wouldn't worry about too much now. Now, one trap that I do want to point out is these character shards here. They are enticing. And like, especially if you're looking for a certain character, like, oh my gosh, I'm only 10 shards away from an unlock, or 10 shards away from the next star level. I would definitely avoid this as much as possible from spending your cores on just 5 character shards. It's a horrible value, so don't do it. That's one of the main takeaways from these character shards here in this store. So definitely do not do that. Now the Blitz store, he was saying that these are kind of worth it to do because you do get so much Blitz currency if you're trying to like clear as many milestones as you can in the Blitz when they have the Blitz events. Or actually, they're not really events, but every time a new Blitz comes up and you're trying to get through those milestones, I would recommend doing that because it does take a little time, but if you set your teams up right, you can just throw it on auto and clear the match, get your rewards. So these blue catalysts are going to be a big, well, maybe not. It's going to be a bottleneck. I don't know about a big bottleneck these days, but it is going to be a bottleneck. You'll want to buy those. I would recommend buying Gore and Spider-Man Pav here in the Blitz store if you can, get enough Blitz currency. And we're going to go through the other characters here. I'm going to try and pause it when we hit some characters that you definitely want to focus on as a new player. So Gore and Pav so far. The rest of these so far not so much. Depending on what kind of alliance you end up with, what kind of raids you might be able to do Sunfire. Just because he'll be in like a spotlight raid. So you might want to get him, but I would just wait and see what kind of alliance you end up in. This row you can probably skip for now as a new player. And especially if you get that $1 or $2 offer, whatever it is, you'll have Silver Surfer, so you won't need to necessarily farm him right away. That row, no. Okay, so the person I'm working with here, he wanted to go for Namor because he was a big Namor fan, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend him, but he went that way. And that's the great part about this game is like you can build characters that you really like, and if that's the fun part of the game for you, then that's great. For me, I always wanted to be competitive, staying with the current meta and everything like that. So for me, and I don't necessarily have, when I first started playing anyway, I didn't necessarily have any like favorite characters. I've learned to really like some characters nowadays, but for me it wasn't like, oh, I really want to build Namor. But that's kind of the cool thing about this game. So now you might want to farm Scarlet Witch. She just recently got a rework, depending on when you watch this video. So if you're watching it 2 years from now, you're gonna be like, Scarlet Witch, what? Why would I do that? So but yeah, as of right now, she's gonna be not a bad choice to farm. And the rest of them are minions, so I wouldn't worry too much about minions. One other thing I forgot to mention about the Webstore is you will get, once you get logged in there, you will get, every day there will be some free claims on the Webstore. So you'll just collect here and just get free stuff. Most of the time they're related to the event that's currently running. Sometimes they're character shards, so make sure you hit those up. Those free stuff is great, so don't forget to claim them. And then the last part of the store in the game is going to be the costume store. Now, I wouldn't recommend just buying costumes. There's an orb you can open that will get you costume credits. These costume credits right here. But I would not recommend doing that unless you're willing to spend on the game. Then go right ahead. But if you're free to play, I would not recommend wasting your cores on the orbs to get the costume credits. They do give away costumes in events, so you can just kind of hold out and wait till they put some of those in events. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is challenges. Challenges give you even more rewards, but you have to kind of build certain teams or certain traits for those challenges. So I would recommend really focusing hard on this ability one as much as you can. Maybe the gold one. There's a training mat one as well. Maybe those three would be like the first ones that I would really focus on. The ability one is really hard, so don't expect to get through it easily. The characters that you can use in there are not a very good combination most of the time, so just do your best on there. Try to use the characters that you're currently investing in for campaigns and stuff. I would not build a random character that's not going to get used anywhere else just for this. So, and then the next thing we're going to talk about is legendary events. You'll see these legendary events in the events section. The events section is going to be right here. And so you'll see these legendary events. Those also require certain teams and they have to be, most of them have to be at certain star levels. So you'll be able to tell when you get in there what characters you can use and which ones you can't use. But like as far as like these two here that you have on day one, Doc Ock and Iron Man, I wouldn't necessarily like go straight for them unless you just love Doc Ock and you just love Iron Man. Go for that. That's perfectly fine. If it's your favorite character, go for it. I want you to have fun in this game, and if that's how you have fun, that's awesome. But if you're trying to if you're trying to be a little bit more competitive, I would kind of just put this on hold for now. Iron Man you can actually unlock when you get your Spider Society full team from that Strike milestone. You can use them for Iron Man, so that'd be a great team to use there. Doc Ock, you get I'd probably recommend right now probably like Secret Defenders, actually, if you can get them. So that would probably be a better team to invest in. Maybe Cable too, because he is just recently reworked, so he'd be a good option as well. So you'll unlock more legendary events, and I'll talk about those as we unlock them here on this account. So keep an eye out for that in future videos. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is if you do sign up for that Scopely account, you do get 50 Ultra Cores. Now, Ultra Cores are these little guys right here. Oops, get out of there. Okay, these little guys up here are the Ultra Cores, and you do get 50 for free for signing up for that Scopely account. And we're just kind of scrolling through what things are worth it to spend those 50 Ultra Cores on. One of them might be that Silver Surfer offer that I talked about. But you got to be careful on what you do spend them on. If you see one of these is your favorite character and you can use those 50 Ultra Cores on it, then definitely go for it. But if you're more chasing the meta, then I would probably go for somebody like Ghost Rider Robbie, or that Gambit offer was pretty good. Hela's not bad. She might be worth it. I believe the person that's running this account, he chose Agatha, so just because he liked Agatha too, so he went with that. And then outside of the Ultra Cores, there's also, and the other offers that were shown here, there is also something called the Time Heist, and that's basically like a level jump. So like right now he's level 24, he can jump to level 35 for a certain price. Yeah, so you can jump from 20 to 35, and then once you're at 35, you can buy the next one, which will get you to 50, and so on. So most of them aren't really going to be worth it too much. If you're willing to be patient, if you're willing to spend, then it'll be okay. It's not a bad purchase. It's not an amazing purchase though. Like I'd say it's more like maybe a B level purchase, where sometimes you'll get A and S tier purchases. This is probably like a B plus, something like that. So it's not horrible, but it's not like amazing deal. So that is my breakdown on that. So like I said, if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to me. I'll definitely be willing to help. Whatever you need, I'll do my best to get the answer for you. So until next time, make sure you keep an eye out for more of these new player videos, and yeah, make sure you spend those resources wisely. We will see you around.